What's going by website here? Ren, what's going on? It's time for another Ren's Playtime Corner. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for
Good.
asking.
Good. I'm very glad. Now I have not seen this clip, and maybe hopefully when I do this in post, I'll find a clip and put it before this. If not, internet is out there, you can find it. But Ren was regaling me of tales of another Shannon Sharp interview. Yes, I have my Cabernet with me, where he was talking to, I believe, Dr. Cheyenne Bryan. You were relaying something with regards to there was something about a man picking you up for the first date or something. Tell me about that.
So it was a lot of stuff that she was saying in this interview, because she's the supposedly licensed therapist. So it was like she was interviewing Shannon while Shannon was trying to interview her at the same time. So she mentioned something about have a man come to your house on the first date if he don't come to if no have like go to the man's house on the first date. If he don't allow you to go in his home, then it's even another woman living there, or he doesn't take you seriously to invite you to his house or something like that. And of course that's like bullshit because it's like I don't know you. Why am I going to your house on the first date? That's just me. I mean, there's people that do it, but nah, I live in Philly. Like, nah, no, we ain't doing that over here. Um, so, and it's not smart to ever do anything like that. This is what I tell my friends and like someone younger dating someone. First, on a first date, get your own car or have cash for Uber, have a plan B just in case. It's not safe out here and anyone we will hope everyone have good intentions, but not everyone have good intentions. Always have a plan B in place or something. Meet in a public setting. Make sure you let people know where you are, where you at, family, friends, somebody, just in case of anything that happens. Now, I think she's just trying to say is if a man that's going to take you seriously is going to invite you to his house, um, and a man that take you seriously is going to invite you to his parents' house too. They're going to introduce you to friends. They're going to introduce you to family.
Yeah,
If
eventually.
but not on the first date. I don't know. I don't
No,
know why she was saying that, but you're not on the first date. I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't want, first of all, so this is the thing, right? Going in is one thing, but if you are just meeting someone and this is your like first date going out, maybe you met, y'all talked on the phone for a little bit, and he asked you out. Um, I'm for me, I'm thinking, why am I thinking, why even coming back to my place an option or me going to your place an option? Now, what I would do is I don't disagree with you with like you, not just as a woman, but in general. I think that you're going out with somebody, maybe even more so. I keep it a woman thing. I don't think we don't have to deal with this. You make sure somebody has your location, somebody knows where you're going. Maybe even uh, again, if you really want to be cautious, a picture. Uh, that's more for safety, but at least somebody knows what you're doing because sometimes, honestly, the chemistry don't click, and you want to
mm,
go.
right.
Um, and sometimes you need a lifeline. That's for guys too. Sometimes it's just like, hey, yo, I'm gonna send you the code. Give me a call. So I can end this date if it's not going well. Blah 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 blah. Honestly, and that's I see that more so as you're not wasting each other's time. Also, being honest as well. Like, hey, we just not fitting. So on and so forth. But they're coming back to the house thing. Like, that's okay. I'll say this. Like, you brought it up to me when you told me who it was. I'm like, oh. Um, she said some goofy thing again. I've talked to you before. I
Mm.
have an issue when people who want to talk out their mouth but don't practice what they preach, and that's someone who doesn't practice what they preach. So
Mm.
when I see that you are supposed to be this expert, but you don't apply these tools to your own life by your own words and admission and deeds, yeah, I don't pay any more attention to you. And she is someone who, through various interviews, has demonstrated and said blatantly that she doesn't follow her own deeds, because I have an issue with someone who's a relationship coach who,
Mhm.
one, is not married or has never been married, who has said that they've been going back and forth with the same man for 5 years. You have no credibility to talk
Mhm.
to other people about relationships and what they're doing and not doing when you can't get your own house in order. That's just my opinion. So even here, something like this, it sounds like more of the foolishness that I've heard coming from those sectors of the realm. But I think a lot of it, and that's what we're having here, they're good conversation pieces. But I think that honestly, if y'all together and like the chemistry's hitting and end of the night, you end up back in one of y'all places, and you know, adults are adults, and you do what you do.
Right.
But as a test of seeing if this man has another woman living there or whatnot, I mean, that will show eventually.
Right.
I think in that regard, and I say this also because I've had, like, I had a friend recently who maybe it's about a month or so ago, we had this conversation. It was just out of the blue, and she was crying on the phone, and come to find out, this dude she met when she was back here, and she went back home, and they've been having this long distance thing. She found out he was married.
Mm.
And I was like, whoa. So I mean,
How
she should
long
have
was
been.
she dating him before she found
It,
out?
it only been a couple months, and then like they
Mm.
met when she was back she's like on the West Coast, so she was
Mm.
here for a hop, skip, and a minute, like seeing family and whatnot, a couple months doing whatever, and then she went back over there. So apparently they met when she was here, and in that conversation, I didn't get all of the details, but I knew when we started the conversation, we started on one thing, and I knew when we started something else was going on. I ended up getting out of it, so I didn't get like details of meeting and how did you know, and like for me personally, I was like, you first of all, as a man, like, you should look, you do what you do, your marriage or whatnot, but you be upfront with somebody else so they can make your own decisions. And for me, that upset me. It's like, dude, all you had to do, you had to say something. You let her, allow her to make her own decision about what kind of relationship she wants to be in based on your relationship. If you don't get what you want, then you don't get what you want. You ain't supposed to get what you
Yeah.
want in this case. But
Right.
if she is that sort of person, then that wouldn't have been an issue for her, But so I
Yeah,
was upset personally.
plus I heard stories like that all the time that men be deceiving these women, and it is deceiving. It is
Yeah, it is.
manipulation
It is.
because
It is. It
you
absolutely is.
you that's a key factor. Like you hanging out with me and then we dated for months and then all of a sudden my kids just run past and like, wait a minute, you never mentioned you had a kid? Oh yeah, I have a kid. Like isn't that just like hold up, had me believe that she was just a single woman, no children, all this other stuff, and then come to find out you have a child. That's a key factor. It's like, yeah, I deceived you. I manipulated the situation because I wanted what I wanted, and that was it. And that's selfishness. Trust me, there's trifling men and women out here that will do some sneaky, trifling, dirty stuff like that, and that's just
Hmm.
what it is. Give these people a choice.
Yeah.
It's
Let me say
it's
this
just a
though.
choice. There's some people that might be okay, yeah, sure, you. And then
Exactly.
if they say no, let them say no. Let them be free and find a
Exactly.
person.
Exactly.
You wasted 2 months of the time of that
Yep.
woman's life. Like
Yep.
nobody got time for that. Nobody got out here just trying to be wasting their time like that. That's trifling.
Right. This is the thing. I don't. You and I, we have done this, and we talked offline, so we've had many conversations that don't involve this, just as friends. And there is no point in time where we haven't talked about our home lives, where we haven't talked about our kids, we haven't talked about our relationships, maybe not that much in depth, but they are present. I find it highly peculiar, that anybody, when they start dating someone, there are certain basic things, like if that man doesn't bring up his kids in any, because I feel like this, and this is my brief experience in the dating world. You have conversations first. Like
Hmm.
typically we meet people on dating apps, whatever. But even if you meet them in person, you get phone numbers, you get some sort of way to communicate, and you start talking to them. Then based on conversation, then you're like, hey, I like to excuse me. This is how I do it. I like
Hmm.
to take you out. You know what I mean? I don't know them. Like I ask people out on dates, and I
Mm,
plan dates. But during that point, before you get to that point, you should know, have a sense of who they are, at least their representative. You should know where they live, around about what area.
mm,
You should know if they have kids or not. You should
mm,
know current or just relationship status.
mm,
Like I think feel like these are things you should know because these are natural conversation points that adults have when you're getting to know someone, who you are, what you do, how many kids you got, where you live, maybe not what kind of house you live in, but about what area do you live in. You know, and as a man, I'm thinking I would need to know that because okay, if I'm planning a date, I need to know if you live 10 miles from me, 30 miles from me, 60 miles from me.
mm.
So I need to figure out locality about what's best. If I'm driving right there, we meet in the middle. Again, that's how I think. I know I've been told a lot of dudes don't think that way. And not no disrespect, but just I hear, hey, people aren't thinking in that sort of way as far as finding information and planning things.
You thinking that way because you're dating with intention. That's
That's
why you're
true.
thinking that way. A lot of people just dating just because they bored on a Friday or a Saturday night and they just want that company. And it's like I keep telling people, like you want relationship without the title. It's like you, but that's you. Time is just too precious for me. Like it's not that I don't date because I date. I try to get to know people. I try to see, okay, this is potential to go somewhere or it's not. But I'll be honest, because at my age, it's like, what's the point of lying? We all getting old, okay? Life is short and the world is showing us life is short. So why are you
Mm-hmm.
out here lying and deceiving anyone on anything? I do not understand. Like it's you can just be honest. Find your person. Find people that's interested in what you're interested in. There's plenty out there. But for you to deceive a person just because I just wanted you so bad that I just wanted to manipulate the situation in order to get you is crazy.
Right. Yeah, it ain't that serious that I would have to manipulate you as to lying where and the funny thing is, right? I literally had a conversation with a friend of mine, and her and I have been friends 10 years. And there was a gentleman she dated a long time ago that we all worked with. And there were just so many things that came out of that relationship. Again, that being deceptive, that being not upfront with everything that sort of have come out years later. She was telling me about something else that somebody put on blast to about something that happened way back when that he hid from her
Mm,
in that regard. And she saw so the fruits of that. And again, the relationship's been over a long time, and it was just kind of like, hey, yeah, the relationship would have been over if this had been revealed.
mm.
More than likely, especially with the woman she is, but you still like, dude, how do you not have a conversation about this and we supposed to be together? Sort of thing.
At least give this person a choice. Just give
Exactly.
them a choice. It's okay. It's so I know it hurts. I know the rejection hurts. It's painful.
Hmm.
But all wounds heal eventually. Eventually, first of all, the universe is going to call it out anyway. The thing that's
Hmm.
going on with Diddy is too many years of him lying and manipulating people. And this is just what happens when you only can get away with certain things for so long until it's exposed. It's only so long that you can lie to someone until they start putting pieces together like, wait a minute, that don't make sense. That's why I just tell people straight up, I'm not interested. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I see your what you're trying to do and I don't like it. I don't want it and it is what it is. You know, like why waste each other's time? Why are we out here and doing that? Now I could say that because just a genuine person, but yeah, there's people out there that's not so genuine, don't have good intentions, and selfish. They just want what they want, and that's it.
Right.
It's weird to me. And then they wonder why women don't want to be bothered no more. Like that's the
Well,
whole conversation.
I say, you know what though? I think that it's a two-way street.
Mm,
I think that a lot of a lot of people don't have intentionality when it comes to dating,
Mhm.
um, based on the conversations and even what I've seen. Um, and with that, both men and women do encounter that when it comes to dating, and then they encounter it so many times they just throw their hands up and like, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't care about this because um, there's another point of something, that intentionality is big. Even if I'll say this, right? Obviously, my life has changed a lot. I'm figuring a lot out um, with that. But if I'm going out on a date with you, my intention is to see where this goes. Um, you know, maybe long term, maybe it's just, we have a connection, see if we can explore that. But I'm not dating you because, hey, I thought you're hot and I'm trying to get you in bed and I'm gonna see how long it takes me to get you in bed. I don't need to date you and spend my resources at this point in my life. And I've always been, is very much about companionship, partnership. Um, whether I get married in 6 months or 6 years from now, again, that will ultimately be my goal because my plan personally is to be married again one day. Don't know when it's
Mhm.
going to happen. There's a road there with that.
Mhm.
But anytime I go out with someone, in the back of my mind, and whether I have or whether I will in the future, there's a thought, okay, is this person or could this person possibly be the next Mrs. Webster style? And those are sort of the glasses I'm looking for.
Mhm.
Not saying I'm like going in like, yeah, I want to marry now. It's hey, I'm not dating just to be dating. When I do choose to go out with someone, I am thinking, okay, I'm looking for certain things. I'm looking for how we fit together. I'm looking for the conversation. And then if we continue dating, how does that relationship grow from there? And
Mhm.
I'm hoping for, and I'm gonna keep going, but I want to bring up something that actually no, I'm gonna pin that because we're talking about dating, and that goes into one of your posts you put up as far as like we talk about intentionality. Uh, I don't want to go with sex on the first date because I think, like, what are things you think should be discussed, say, within the first 3 dates? Say that sort of time span. Sex, finances. When you go into it,
Mhm.
what things do you think need to be discussed in those first 3 dates? Whether those first 3 days happen in a week or over the course of a month.
Well, from I'm dating someone now. We talked about family. So he don't have a child. He knows I do have a child. So I asked him, for a man at your age, why you don't have a child? He said, I
Hmm.
don't want a baby mama. I want a wife. I want to have a child with intention
Hmm.
of this is a good mother, this is a good wife, this is a good person that I know, regardless if I'm here or not, my child will be well taken care of.
Right.
Smart answer,
And
because
that's the
that's what
correct
you
answer.
do. Yes. So you have to ask questions. I'm not saying rapid fire 100 questions in one day. We dating, so each day of talking, dating is a new question of me to ask.
Right.
So, are so you want marriage? What do you see in the future of marriage? And then
Right.
he explained, well, loyalty, dignity, honoring, he cooks. So he's not expecting me to cook and clean. He understands
Right.
we both gotta partake in that. So it's just the companionship, the loyalty, the honoring. That's what he looked for. Like,
Right.
okay, so you have like, and then he asked me questions like, oh, you have a podcast? Is this your hobby? Is it your interest? Is
Mm-hmm.
what do you expect to do with this? So questions like that is showing I'm intentionally dating you because I
Right.
intentionally want to get to know you. Like, you ask these questions, and if they not asking you questions like this, then they're not really interested in you. They
Exact. Oh, you are absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So it's like they even want your money or want something in your pants. Like it's like
Hmm.
you, if you really trying to get know a person, you ask these questions. These are questions with intent. Like
Right.
this is what I see. This is what I want. This is what I need. And he even told me, "You sound like you know what you want." I
Right.
do know what I want. At my age, why wouldn't I know what I want? I know exactly what I want. I know what I need in my current state in life. And if it's not you, then life keep pushing. But it's nothing to rush either.
Yeah.
Get to
True.
know that person. Get to see like this is what I, because also you have to understand this. Any person that you are dating and with, you are carrying on their baggage and loads too. Whatever they got going on, now y'all sharing into that thing. It's you just have to be careful out here, And also, like, I don't want to be too deep, but I believe in energy too. I need positive energy around me. If I see you a positive energy person, then you can come around me.
Yeah. I know. Everything you said is absolutely true, especially the last part, that positive energy part. I think that, um, how can I put this? We are at a different state of dating, and based on where we are. And again, I got you, by a decade and a half or so. But I say to say, once you get grown, and especially if you have, kids, or you've been divorced, um, it is, you have to be intentional, because you're thinking about, okay, if I do get married again, in your case, married for the first time, like, you're integrating your lives, you're integrating your child, you are, if you own houses, you have to figure out what, like, there are so many different aspects. I know, like, some people, women I know, like, in their dating, like, they're taking care of um elderly parents and the main kid, like, there are, so anybody coming to those situations are going to be sharing all of that. And that is, it's something, now I'm in this phase of my life. It's, one, is not where I expected to be at this phase of my
Mhm.
life. But so I say, those are questions that I never thought I would have to ask. Those are things I would never have to really look at. Okay, is this situation, good for me? How would we intertwine our lives? How would we move forward? And again, that's a long-term sort of play.
Mhm.
But those things do sort of creep into your head. If you're dating someone, you are very much involved with them, especially, we getting past the first date. So, you guys are pretty much probably exclusive by this point. Like, you think that, okay, can I do this? Is that something I want to take on? Can we handle that together? And we ain't even talking about how much money you got in the bank, credit score, blah, 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 blah. We just talking
Mhm.
about, all right, just logistics of everything. How do we work that? And I personally feel like, you can work those out, and that's a long-term play. But I'm just illustrating that those are things that you think about now, compared to when you were dating something when you were 25, 26.
Right.
You just got a little piece of crap apartment. You got your first job, and you trying to survive, and you trying to build your life.
Right.
It's a lot easier than to get married, and from a logistical standpoint, and build a life together and integrate your lives. Because for the most part, at that age, even now, most people aren't coming together with too much. So it's a
Mhm.
lot easier to build. Now you're talking about, you're dating your 35, 40, 40s, 47 in my case. People are coming to the table with children, multiple children, old children, younger children, houses, careers, um,
Mhm.
you know, elderly parents. They're just, so you're looking at it like, okay, long term, that's something we're going to have to navigate. Not saying we can't, but just, again, illustrating, these are questions you ask now when you think about, again, if you're intentional. If you're not
Right.
intentional, all you're thinking about is what you can get, how good she is in bed, and how good he is in bed, or what can I get from him to, so he can make my life easier, not really caring about him and his situation. But yeah, when you're intentional and you actually care about people, these are things you think about.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, that's dating. It's called courting. It's like you just Yes, yes, I get it. Sex is great. Sex is fun. Sex is amazing. But sex also comes with headaches, heartaches, STDs, and pregnancies. Like, let's be real, guys. Like, stop acting like, oh, it's just sex. Sex is never just sex. It's never just sex, man. Like, let's
No,
be
it's never.
real.
It is never,
Like,
never.
if
No, it's
you
not.
if you just want your nut, just say you just want your nut. But stop making excuses like sex ain't that serious. Yes, it is.
It
Just
is
stop trying to trick somebody into sleeping with you. If you want your
exactly.
nut, just say I just want my damn nut. I just want to fuck. That's it.
This is
Like,
where I say, look, there should be a healthy conversation, and I think that obviously not the first date, but if you guys are having dates, I think that sex in some way, shape, or form should come up. Not necessarily, hey, we want to, get to it, but your understanding concept of what that means to you.
mhm,
I think those are conversations that grown adults should have. So that way,
absolutely.
one, if you mesh, but also it's a matter of communication. So a healthy place in your state of being where, okay, this is something we may want to do. This is a
Yeah.
step we may want to advance our relationship. Um, so yeah,
And we had that conversation. The person that I'm dating now, he's dating with intention. He's asking me all the right questions. And he's not even pressuring me for sex. Like, he wants to get to know me. That's all he wants to do. He knows I don't have to do nothing I don't want to do, and I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do. So he's trying to get to know me, trying to understand me, and he sees that I'm a good person. So at the end of it, who knows? But for now, I'm very happy and content with the conversations, the mature adult conversations that I am having with this young man. It's a breath of fresh air. Because some people who are older than me don't even know how to communicate, which is crazy. Everything's about communication, guys. If you
let
even
me
if the conversation is uncomfortable, still have it. So there is no doubt in your mind that this is the person you want to be with. This is the person you want to lay down with. Like, have the uncomfortable conversations just to get it out the way so nobody can say, well, you tricked me and you used me and you did this and you did that. If you would have had the conversation in the beginning, none of that would even be happening. I told you what it is. This is what I want. This is what I need. So have those conversations and stop playing games. Y'all too old to be playing some damn games. Grow up.
No, you're
So,
right. It's funny you say that, and one of the things is not just in dating. But one of the things I've constantly heard with regards to gripes that the women have is that men don't communicate. And what I mean by that is you don't know how many times I've heard, oh, you articulated that so well. Oh, you communicated that so well. And when I hear that that is not what so many women are getting we're talking about men my age. So we're not talking about young men. Like I've heard so many times that they are not getting anyone that communicates, that's able to articulate themselves. How way my friend says it, she doesn't get like she said, getting full sentences and thoughts from some people are difficult. And these are quote unquote men that are college educated and quote unquote successful. And I'm
mhm.
sitting here like it's called a conversation. It is not hard. And I will say, for me, when I talk, like, okay, I can talk, I can articulate myself, like, but that's how I expect everybody to be if you're a certain age and a certain, accomplishment level. Like, how did you get to where you are, not being able to communicate or articulate yourself, let alone having those skills not translate into interpersonal relationships?
Because some people are not mature. It's maturity. It's actually learning from your past mistakes and growing from it. I can be 45. I'm not 45, but I can be 45. But if I am so immature and childish and selfish that I just want what I want, forget what these other people are doing, forget what I did in the past, that's immaturity. I didn't learn my lesson. That's why I'm still dealing with the same bullshit, the same drama. consistently. No, sometimes you need to sit down with your own self, with your own thoughts, and just realize, okay, maybe I am the problem. Maybe that was my fault in the situation. Maybe I shouldn't have done it this way. I should have done it that way. And take accountability and grow the hell up. That's it. Just take the L and keep it pushing. That's it. Y'all seen what happened to Sharon Sharp with the whole girl and the whole debacle with that bullshit? He grew from it and he's still podcasting, still doing his job, still interviewing people. Take the damn L. That's probably why he paid the girl off. Like, yeah, I did some fucked up shit. Here's the money. Let me just move on with my life. Just take the L and learn from your mistakes and keep it pushing. Life is going to life as long as you're living. It's not always going to be roses and sunshine. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but learn from your mistakes, learn from your past, and stop repeating the same bullshit over and over again. That's it. If you've been so used to just another Diddy situation example, he was so used to manipulating and lying to the situation. Even after Diddy literally said he never put his hands on Cassidy until the video came out. Then he had to admit to it. But he tried to manipulate the media and he tried to manipulate the situation when he knew that he did this stuff. If there was no video, we would have thought Cassidy was a liar. No, only when it was put out there, he had to admit to it. And now it's this documentary that came out with 50 Cent. And he's recording himself, which is insane, but he's recording himself saying some crazy stuff. And he's still thinking he's the victim in the situation. Bro, how? Take the accountability. Okay. People keep saying, hopefully, he in prison, learning from his mistakes. This is why the judge wanted him in prison because he wasn't learning nothing.
Yeah.
He would have been back on the street still causing chaos. Sit your ass down, sit with your thoughts, and realize you are probably the problem. And it's okay. Okay? Learn, damn, I'm toxic. Okay, now that I realize this, do I still want to be toxic or do I want to be a better person? That like that's it. That's all it takes. That's maturity. Guys, that's maturity. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you still childish, then you're a child. That's it. Mentality is the maturity,
Yeah, I agree.
not
I
the
think now that I want to touch on that, but there's something else you have on your Facebook post that I think goes into this conversation about communication and dating as well. But I wanted to say in reference to the accountability aspect. Um, One of the things that I see, especially at this age and out here in these streets, is there are people who really don't have a comprehension of themselves.
That's true.
And they are attempting to date, attempting to fill voids in their lives by whom they date, and it's not going to end well. And then there are people who beautifully know who they are, know what they have to offer, know how to not only love themselves but love someone whom they love, and it is absolutely beautiful and amazing. But they took the time to get to that point. They took the time to listen to themselves. They took the time to look and acknowledge their mistakes, to acknowledge the changes that have happened in their lives, and to take stock of it. I think in mass, most people don't do that.
Mm.
I know even in my situation, as tragic as it is, one of the things that I have been able to, and then I'm still working through, is to not only look at and sit with how I've changed in the past 18 years. And both my faults, both my, how I've grown as a man, in this aspect now, being single, understanding where I am, understanding where I need to heal, understanding where I need to grow, but also understanding that while I love my wife,
Mm-hmm.
I am not the same man I was when I was 29 when I married her. I
Right.
am much more of a man now than I was then. I am much more in touch with who I am, what I am. I know I know what I am when I present myself to a woman, and that's not being arrogant, that's being factual. I
Mm-hmm.
know who I am when it comes to understanding my role as a husband and a partner and being able to execute. So those are things I bring into any new relationship that I didn't bring when I proposed to my wife, when I married her. Those are things I learned the wrong way, just as she learned how to be a wife or how to not be a wife.
Right.
Those are things we learn. But now I'm at this point where I have and then continue to take stock and accountability that, maybe I didn't handle that situation too well. Or even now in dating, maybe I didn't do this well. Maybe I did, maybe I wasn't ready for this step.
Right.
Maybe I need to take is about being honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think that too many people, I won't say most, I'm gonna just paint this broad brush, but I think too many people aren't honest with themselves. And honesty is hard. Honesty is hard when you know there is this person that you click with. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything matches. But you have to sit back and you say, you know what, as wonderful as they are, as bright of a future I can see with them, I'm not ready, or I still need to do work on myself, or I need to, kind of retrench to figure some things out. And I have to step away from this. As hard as it is being honest and real with
Right.
yourself. And I think that too many people don't do that.
Right.
Um, so so with that, I'll say that. So that's about the accountability thing, and I agree. But there's something that I want to kind of go back to, another Facebook post you had, which dives into that, the conversation piece. And it's, do you trust a man with multiple baby moms just as much as you don't trust a woman with multiple baby daddies? Let me tell you straight up. Now, first of all, I do not attract any women with multiple baby daddies. That is no, 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 no. And I don't mean that to be like funny, like, oh, I'm too good, but the women that in this
What's the
phase of my
limit?
life,
What's the limit of baby
honestly,
daddies?
let me tell you straight up, with the accomplished women that I've met, none of them would have put themselves in a situation to have kids by multiple men.
So more
And
than
that's what
one.
I'm um yeah, more than one is an issue. Um it is an issue, and especially if you have younger kids. Um, as a man, and I'm gonna be honest, and this may be red pill talking points, that says to me that you don't have discipline.
Mm.
For you to have multiple kids by multiple men, and it also tells me you don't know how to conduct yourself in a relationship, because you can't tell me that it was always their fault. And if it's always their fault, that tells me that you do not have a good idea of yourself and
Well,
what you
maybe
really mean in a
he's
relationship.
a hood nigga. Like hood niggas have
Then,
always multiple baby moms somewhere.
but again, that woman chose to lay down and have a child with him.
Mm.
Ultimately, she makes that choice on who she lays down with and who she's impregnated by. So that's why, for me, I would ask about your decision making, and I would say the same thing as a man. Like, why are you out here have no discretion whatsoever with whom you lay down with, whom you impregnate? Like, you have a deficiency in yourself, in my opinion. If that's how you now, again, if this happened, if we talk about somebody my age and they got grown kids now, I think that's a bit different, because hopefully that person would have grown from that.
Mm.
But if you're talking about, you got a 2-year old, a 5-year old, a 10-year old, and a 14-year old, you never learned your lesson.
Mm.
You never learned. You can't. And there's also accountability, because I feel like if that's the case, man or woman, they are blaming the other parties. I mean, we see like on Kendra G, all these women going, it's like, She asked them how many kids they have and how many baby daddies. They're like, I got 4 kids and 3 baby daddies. And they run down, well, he was a deadbeat and he was an abuser and he's in jail. I'm thinking that none of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. Because how is everybody the same sort of guy unless you're picking them? But also, and this is one thing I've
Maybe that's
learned,
her type. Some
and
women like
yeah,
the roughnecks.
and that her type, she never was intentional about what she wanted. She allowed them to use her and do whatever they wanted to her, and now she's in a situation where she has no support and has children to take care of.
Well, listen, as a woman, okay, I'm not going to call out any woman on their choice because trust, like I said, there are men that be deceiving. There is no man I have ever met in my whole entire life ever came up
When
to me
I'm gonna
and just
stop you for a
was
second.
like,
I'm gonna stop you for a second.
"Go ahead."
If you waited to get a ring on your finger before you got pregnant and had a baby, none of them would be in that situation.
That's true. That
And
is
for the man,
true.
the man as well, if they waited, just like your gentleman friend, now how he does not want to father any children outside of wedlock because of the consequences.
Hmm.
If people, and again, I am not saying, oh, they're wrong or oh, they're this. I'm not saying that. I'm
Right.
simply saying is all the excuses to me are bull because there's a structure for if you don't want these things to happen, you can prevent these things from happening. Men and
So
women.
you telling women just stop giving it up the coochie until you get that ring. Is that
What,
what
what
you're
I'm
saying?
saying is, what I'm saying is, don't get pregnant until you got a
Oh,
ring and you walk down the aisle. That's what I'm saying.
okay.
Because you look, we can prevent pregnancy. Let's be real.
Yes, we can. There's
But
options.
both men and women we can prevent that. We can make sure that doesn't happen.
Hmm.
So I when one time, okay, you know, you were together with this man, y'all planning on getting married, blah 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 blah. You decided to have a baby before you actually got married, but you talked about it, you planned it, and then it's like, oh, it didn't work out to what it was. Cool, I understand that, but don't come back like, oh, I got 2 kids later by 2 different men. Or same thing with the dude. It's like, how are you gonna come back? Like, yeah, as my childhood, my high school sweetheart. We
Hmm.
were young, we were stupid. Cool. You did not take precautions. You were in the heat of the moment. That's one. But don't come back and then have 2 more kids by 2 different women. That shows me that you never learned from your mistakes. You never grew. So, I mean, not that the child's a mistake, but your decisions that led to that child being born. Like those are things
Okay.
you didn't want them to happen, but you allowed them to because of the choice you made. So you didn't learn from your mistakes. You didn't learn from your choices. You don't like the result of your choices. You make different ones. You don't keep making the same choices. That's why I say I have no sympathy because at the end of the day, you have a choice in how to conduct yourself. You have a choice on who you lay down with. You have a choice in whether or not you allow this person to impregnate you. You impregnate that person. We all know that we all know about condoms, IUDs, birth control. If the good old pull out method is your only birth control, then you are playing Russian roulette.
Well, let
Um,
me have a disclosure because there's plenty of women that would say "F you, Webster" because of that type of logic. Okay. Now,
it's not
I
logic;
hear what
it's the
you're
truth, though. It's a fact.
I hear what you're saying. I totally hear what you're saying. But these women defense would be, well, in different situations too. They might have been young, dumb, and in love with the first one. Then the second one could have been the perfect guy for her, and then a tragedy happens. So she just ended up with two baby daddies based off that. So I just want people to learn from their mistakes. That's it. Or learn from past situations that probably wasn't beneficial to them and just make better choices in the future. These are kids, these are lives that already been made. And as long as I will say this, as long as the fathers are involved and taking care of the kid in some way,
As they
then
should be.
kudos. Yes, then that's a good thing then. Um I'm not here to please anybody's body or vagina. So I don't judge. I'm not judging nobody with multiple baby moms or anything. Um, well, as a woman, multiple baby mamas do scare me a little bit. It do. I'm not gonna lie because it's like, well, what's going on here? Like,
Can I say this? I'm not judging. I'm looking in the context of if I'm dating
mm,
and your decisions make you or give a sense to someone that's potentially wants to date you in who you are. And
mm,
for me as a man, if I see that, that makes me question your judgment as to what you're really looking for in a potential partner, if you're even looking for a potential partner. That's even, before I think about, serious relationship, taking on her and her kids and every, like, that's before we get there. That
mm,
makes me as a man question, okay, how have you handled your life? How have you handled adversity? What have you done, to learn from your mistakes? If, in a sense, I see you've repeated the same mistake every couple of years. So as a man, that, and again, not judgment, but for me in dating,
mm.
those are questions that I would ask, and those are
So
things that I
I
would
asked
be,
questions with the baby
yeah.
mom situation. Like one guy I was dating, it was real short. He said he had two baby moms who lived in two different states, but he lived in PA. And then I'm like, so you have two different baby moms in two different states. You live here in PA and you talking to me. What you expect me to be your third baby mom? He said, maybe. I said, oh hell no. Hell to the no. Like
He
and-
clearly wasn't dating with intention. Clearly.
or his intent was just to have me as a baby mom. Like that could have been his intention. Like trust. Women ain't the only one trapping men.
Okay.
Men be trapping us
Hey,
too. Like
but you know what? I'll say this, and I don't disagree with you. However, and I know there are women out there who would have found that line cute, and
mm.
that would have sparked something somewhere, and they would have ended up being baby mom number three, and then they'd be complaining about he ain't this, he ain't that. Well,
Yeah, nah, we ain't
you
doing that
already
over
know.
here. Like, nah, no, 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 no.
But again, this
No,
is
there
when
be
you're
men that be flirting, literally flirting like, "I'm gonna make you my baby mom number five." I'm like, "Sir, please
nah,
get off
homie,
my phone. Stop talking to me. Leave me alone." That was a threat. That was nothing cute about that. That was a threat. You just
nothing
threatened
cute,
my
right?
life.
Right.
Like we ain't doing that over here. Now, yes, there's some women that just love being pregnant, love babies that and all that and motherly and believe it's just me as a natural woman and giving birth to life and kudos to you. To each his own. Like that I'm listen, like you said, we all have choices in life. And if with all the information that you gather from this person and you still choose to continue to pursue this person or be with this person and lay down with this person, you made a conscious decision to keep putting up. And then if it was not mediocre, but it was mediocre, low vibration, minimum effort in the beginning, why do you think it's going to change in further down the line? Did he gave you zero interest in the beginning? He gave you no implication that he wanted you to be with him long term, and you still entertained it because maybe you just wanted to be entertained. But understand that when it's over, you made that choice to continue with that person and their shenanigans.
Right.
Learn people. It's okay being alone. I know some people just can't stand it. I love my
And it's
company.
let,
I'd rather have my company than dealing with headaches every single damn day.
let me tell you
No.
something. And this is something that I realized the other day. I was talking to someone, and I said, and not just being married, just being in an intimate relationship with a woman. And I said, this is the first time since 1998 I've not had been in a relationship, an intimate relationship with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. because I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, since 1998. I'm like, damn, that's kind of weird. When I had to think about it in that way. Like, I am not involved with someone in any kind of with a woman. Let me be specific, because
Mm-hmm.
people try to read between the lines. In any kind of way at this moment in my life for the first time in almost 3 decades of my
Okay.
life, and it's weird in many respects. Is like I had to sit and think about, like, oh yeah, I haven't, and blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. But I will say, you talk about being alone. It is somewhat refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
It is very thought provoking, because I think and not saying I just find myself by my relationships, but as a man, I know that I am someone who is very much relationship oriented. And I always have been.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to not be in one at this moment in any way, shape, or form. Um, just it's a learning experience. It's a process. But I will say this though, and this is the one thing I've learned in my short time in these streets. And again, um, like I said to you before, how could, there is a certain caliber of woman who I have been graced to have a come across my path. Um, and there is the conversations I've had, the experiences I've had. Like, this is what grown folks do. And I'm not just like I've been out dating this, but just like meeting people, getting to know people on that level. It's like this is what grown people talk about. These are grown people's conversations. So I say that to say I don't know what's going on the internet, because I am not having and have not had any kind of conversation in the realm of dating or talking, what have you, that any way equates to any of the BS we see online, to any of those horror
Exactly.
stories that
Yes.
you hear them talking about. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about grown people
Right.
who have an fundamental understanding of who they are, what they are. If not, they're learning, and they admit that they're learning, admit that they're figuring things out, they admit that their life is in transition, and are trying to understand these. Like, there's an honesty there. Even if nothing more comes about anything but a conversation, there's an
Mm-hmm.
honesty there that I don't see reflected in the general relationship discourse.
Right.
And I don't know, and again, it may be all a grift, and we've talked about that before. It may be because all of these people, and it seems like all these people were in certain sort of lifestyle. So that's kind of what they get and who they encounter. They encounter the same type. I don't know. But all I know is these conversations, these sort of scenarios, I'm like, I've never, ever had any of this. And again, my time in the streets is young, but
Mm-hmm.
again, the caliber of women that I meet are not those low vibrational people we see online.
Mm. No, seriously, the person that I'm talking to and dating now, I met him out and about
Mm-hmm.
at a restaurant. Nothing crazy. I didn't meet him on the internet. He didn't just was infatuated by some post I made or a picture I post. He just saw me. I saw him, and we had a conversation based just off of that. Just a regular, normal conversation. People don't understand. There's miserable people on the internet that are just venting to themselves about their own heartbreak, their own feelings, their me, I need this, and that. And it's not like I remember the people really was having a conversation of a date to the Cheesecake Factory. Like I haven't been on dates to the Cheesecake Factory before. Like, who gives a fuck? This one particular person don't like going on dates to the Cheesecake Factory. Everybody can't go to the damn Cheesecake Factory. If y'all don't get the fuck out of my face with this bullshit, like it's just dumb. Some of these conversations, I try to explain on my posts. This is why I say disclosure sometimes. Like these thoughts and opinions are not grounded and rooted in my whole life experience, and this is just what I am, this is just what I say, this is just what I do. No, these are just conversations. A conversation is just for me, it's
Hmm.
an educational process for
Right.
me. It's just I just want to know everyone's different opinions and thoughts on certain things. And just so I'd be like, that's interesting.
Right.
That's bullshit. Hmm,
Right.
I might try that. Just so I can have more than just one opinion of something. I like having conversations and getting everyone's thought process to be like, okay, that makes sense. Like an ex of mine contacted me recently, and he was just like, I miss you or something. I'm like, that's nice. Like, and what's the dot continue, because I know him for years. So it's like, what else you want to say? He's like, I've been to therapy, okay, and I'm toxic. Really? No shit. But I'm glad you went to therapy. I'm glad you realized your own demises and your own flaws and all this other stuff that's going on with you. And I'm glad that you realized that I was the best thing you ever had because I still loved you through all your crazy. Like, I still try to help you through your crazy. And I appreciate you saw I was a good woman at the end of it. You know, Still just my friend or acquaintance or whatever your title you want to be, but at least therapy, reflection, realizations on your own issues. Because no, I'm not
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
We're not perfect. Everyone got problems. Everybody got issues, but it's like, damn, are you just gonna keep being drama every day? Gotta be drama. I can't deal with drama every day. Like, I don't got time for it. Like, wrinkles and gray hairs comes from stress. Okay, I ain't trying to be stressed. This is the age that I need to be juvenated. Okay, like, please keep me out of the conversation sometimes. Like it's not that deep. It's not that serious to me.
Right. Now,
But
last point, since we're
mm,
going up and we're going like natural progression, your last question, and I guess, um, we're going to get a bit personal here. So, what are you looking for in a husband?
loyalty, integrity, honesty, communication, emotional intelligence, and determination. Like, I'm a go getter. I want that. I want that money. I want that house. I want that car. I want my college. I want everything that life can provide for me. And I need someone that's just as ambitious as me. I can't be the only one ambitious and you. I say this when I have this analogy. I'm running a race. It's one of those baton races. I'm going, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running. I'm trying to pass you the baton, and you all the way back there, nowhere to be found. So it's like, okay, so I can't continue the race if you all the way back there. We have to be on the same page for us to go to the finish line. That's all I look for in a husband. Let's be on the same page at least. Like, we don't have to have everything in sync with each other. But the key things that are important, we have to at least have some sort of agreement to it. And that's all I look for. That's it.
So, let me ask, and I'm not something you said is, and I didn't plan on it like ask a question, but something you said is part of a conversation I've had with other friends of mine as far as that ambition part. And one of the things I hear of a competition of sorts. Like you like, oh, you want to hand off the baton, blah 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 blah. But maybe it's somebody who's been married. I see it differently. You're running the same race but in separate lanes.
Okay.
Like I can't hand the baton off to you because we are working together, but we are running different lanes in
Hmm.
different lanes in the same race. Because my job, my responsibility, my roles as a husband and what I bring to this marriage are going to be different than what my wife brings to this marriage. Like
Right.
we're going to be the same. So that's when I hear that, and I also hear the ambition and the negative part because I've heard stories. Again, I don't know specifically, but look, y'all talk, and fortunately, I have one of those ears that people just like talking to me about all the gossip and crap that they've heard that they can't tell nobody else because they know I ain't saying nothing to nobody because I don't know these people anyway. But when I hear the conversations, I hear about, well, he's just not ambitious anymore, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm doing this, but that man is taking care of the house. That man is taking care of the kid that ain't his, and you are upset because he's not ambitious. No, he handling his business. Why does he have to be ambitious and have to be constantly elevating when his job and his role is to make sure home is okay? And I think,
Depending on if he has a decent job or career, then he was already ambitious. He was
okay,
ambitious into having some sort of stability. So that's fine. I'm talking
I
about
like
people
that.
that don't have nothing to their name
Okay,
whatsoever. And I don't like you think you're gonna sleep in my place, in my crib, and no contribute to nothing. That is what I do not like. That's what I mean by ambition. I'm not about
thank
to
you.
come home every day and you laying on the couch like, I'll apply to that job tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. So nah, that's what I mean about it. I need you
Okay,
to really want
somebody's trying
something
to
out
build
of
with
it.
you. Okay, I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that person, you should never marry them in the first place. But
Hmm.
yeah, okay, I get it. Thank you. Because trust me, I've heard that defined in different ways that is very off putting. And it could come off very selfish.
Hmm.
And the way you put it is exactly the way it should be, especially if you are trying to build a life with someone and they are goal oriented, they're trying to do things to achieve them. I got you. I guess more so I'm looking at it as somebody feels like they have outgrown that person, even though the person is handling what they need. They've got to put where they can handle what they need to. Because I said this to my friend, and I said, honestly, most of it just want to get to a place where we're content. I have,
Hmm.
yes, I have been very blessed that I have been able to achieve and excel. I was talking to somebody, and when I sort of revealed all of me to them, she's like, oh, like there was a I didn't expect all this, or oh, you've done all this, or oh, I've like just like for me, it's like it's whatever, right? But
Hmm.
someone else sees it differently, and but they see that oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to. So they see that go getter, so to speak. But for me, I just want to be content in my life. I want to be in a position where I can take care of my family. I want to be in a position where they're taken care of.
Hmm.
That's all that's ever mattered to me. Even when I was young, before I got married, it was never about I need to advance and achieve. It was I want to be comfortable. And when I did ultimately propose to my wife, it was like, oh no, I need a better job because I got to be in a position to take care of a family. Even if I wasn't financially at that point, it was a goal of constantly moving up to be in a position to take care of my family. And that's the mentality I think. And correct me, I think that's what you're kind of talking about
Yes.
to some degree.
Yes. If we already established, then I if you don't have to do anything. Like if you feel comfortable that this is we have the house, we have the car, we have the college, the kids off the college, we did it. We did the American dream. We did the dream people wish and pray for every day. Okay. But sometimes women just be bored. Women be bored, people be bored, and it's just like, maybe I want to do something different. Maybe I want something different. I mean that's fine to have wants and needs, but be rational as well. Like I'm not gonna knock no man that established himself and having me live comfortably. I don't have to worry about no bills being late or a car being repoed or something. I'm never gonna knock a man for providing what he was like providing, protecting. This is what women always say they want. Why would I be mad that you did what I prayed and hoped for every single day to have in a man? I wouldn't do that. So if some woman feels that way, she just feeling that way. She feeling her own insecurities or her own doubts or self doubts. So yeah, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Sorry, the mic muted.
Mm,
Nothing you said is unrealistic at all.
mm,
I think for me, and looking, down the line, when I am ready to take that step in my life,
mm,
for me, it's all about love, and what I mean by that is I am looking for a woman that loves themselves, but loves themselves no more so they know how to love me.
mm,
Like having a full understanding of who they are and what they are and what they give. Because while I am maybe not there yet, because I still have work to do, I know I'm a man that loves and loves completely and loves deeply and will give my all.
mm.
And I think that if you are someone who is very much in line with that, I honestly think that you can work through any and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, everything's about growth, guys. There's nothing
Yep.
wrong with
Everything's about
growing.
growth.
So
And therapy
yeah,
helps.
yes it is.
Therapy
So
helps. All right, Brand. I think that's a great way to end this one. Tell everybody where they can find you.
you can follow me on Instagram, Celie_Weaver. You can also find me on Webster Style platforms, and you can also follow me on Facebook. I think it's Ren Graves on Facebook currently. So thank
Okay.
you
All right.
so much, Webster. Always a
Cool. Same
pleasure.
here, Ren. Always a pleasure, definitely. Webster Style, we had another episode of Ren's Playtime Corner in the can. Again, stay tuned for more stuff from Webster Style. This will probably go up shortly after we record it. So you're going to be knee deep in still content from Awesome Con, content from Exotica New Jersey, as well as Exotica DC, which I was at this past week, and East Coast Black American or Black African Comic Con, which I still have to get to. Trying to get through all that before January, because then it's DC Auto Show. It never stops. It never stops. So yeah, a lot of content here. Myself, Ren. Make sure you check us out. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. But more importantly, thank you for your time. Thank you for your listening ear. Remember, stay safe out there and be blessed.
Thank you.